And Michael asks, when I play a solo over backing tracks, and it's awesome, and I'm lost in the moment, I record myself, I find it difficult to repeat the solo like I did before. Is this normal?
Man, this is a great question. This is a great question. Okay, so when I'm playing lead guitar, when you're playing lead guitar, you get lost in the moment. First of all, that's the most amazing feeling on the planet, in my opinion. It really is. It literally can bring you to tears. So whenever you're playing lead guitar, you're playing with a backing track or something, you just get lost in the moment. And the question is, I can't really repeat what I played when I was lost in the moment after the fact. Is that bad? Is that a bad thing? No, that's actually the best thing. Why? Because that means you weren't thinking when you were playing. You were just feeling it. You were letting it flow. This is a little bit of an odd concept for people, some people to think about. But if you imagine driving in your car and listening to your radio, you know how you have to, like, let's say we used to have to turn the dial, or you hit the button to tune in, literally to tune in to a specific frequency or a specific radio station. And only when you tune into a particular radio station, the music starts coming through. Well, guess what? We are all radios, okay? I know this sounds weird, but we are all radios. And there's music wanting to come through. You literally just have to change the frequency mentally. You have to let yourself find the signal to where the music starts flowing, and then it starts coming out of your guitar. Okay, it sounds kind of weird, but that's exactly how it works. And what this question is asking about is, when I actually dial in, when I tune into the station and the music starts flowing through me, first of all, like I said, that's the best feeling on the planet. But the second thing is that bad that I can't remember what I played, or that I can't repeat what I played? And again, the answer is absolutely not, because you were in the zone. You were in the moment. You were just letting the music flow. And that's the highest level of playing music. That's like true musicianship right there. Now, if you can't remember what you played, who cares? Think about it like this. Well, of course, unless you're wanting to write a song, then record yourself playing, because then you can go back and listen to it and you can see those awesome parts, or at least the parts that you thought were awesome. You can go back and listen to those parts again, and you can figure it out, how to play it on your guitar. But in general, if you can't play, like I said, if you can't repeat something after you're in the zone, you come out of the zone, you can't repeat it earlier. Think about it like this. If you're having a really good conversation with somebody, your responses, if somebody asks you a question, and maybe you're talking about a really deep topic that you really care about, your responses are going to be 100% tailor-made to the specific question that the person is asking you at that moment in time, right? If you had any kind of a cookie cutter answer, and this is the huge problem, this is probably the biggest problem with all the stuff out there that just teaches you how to play specific licks or specific riffs, that you take this one piece of music that exists in time and you try to fit it into another piece. Like if I'm having a conversation with a friend, and let's say I have the same, we're having a very deep conversation, I'm going to respond exactly to what the person is asking me, or exactly what we're talking about. But if I was in another conversation with another person and I said that exact same thing, it wouldn't really resonate. Like, it doesn't really fit the scenario. And that's because I wouldn't have really been listening to what the person is saying. So it's exactly the same as going to a foreign country. Let's say you're going to go to, I'm in Puerto Rico right now. So let's say you only know where is the bathroom in Spanish, and let's say you know how to say, where is the bathroom, and hi, nice to meet you. Well, if you walk in a McDonald's, or if you walk into a restaurant and the waitress comes up and you don't really understand what she says, and you say, hi, nice to meet you, where is the bathroom? That's a little bit awkward, right? It doesn't really fit. So again, the best thing that you can ever hope for as a musician is to have fluency in the language of music. And when you can respond to the specific situation, remember I just said something about having a really deep conversation. Music is literally just a conversation. In fact, one of the greatest jazz guitar players of all time, Pat Metheny, happens to be one of my favorite guitar players. He said, music at its best is like a great conversation with an old friend. And I think that's amazing. But specifically as it relates to what we're talking about right now, if you're not listening, if you're not tuned in, and the music isn't flowing through you, and you're not responding to the specific situation at hand, the specific conversation that's going on right now, well, you're not really playing. You're just regurgitating. And we all know that regurgitating is not any fun. So no, absolutely a great thing that you can't remember what you played after you play it. just record yourself when you play so you can go back and listen later and then figure out those cool little ideas that you had. But yeah.
That was so good. Yeah, that's a gold mine right there. Have you ever told a friend a story or told a joke, and then another person comes up and asks, "Oh, what are you guys talking about?" And you have to say it again, and then another person walks up, and you have to. So when that happens to me, I try to. I'm like really like. I realize I don't want to say it the same exact way to this person because they're gonna be like, he's just like it's too cookie. So I try to.
Rehearsed.
Yeah, so what I try to do is change it up a little bit every time so that it's unique for every single person. But what you said there, I think it's a gold mine for a lot of people. Like too many people get stuck in just learning licks and then just pulling out those licks.
Exactly.
Well, we have a course called the Greatest Musical Ideas, and what it teaches, get ideas from these great artists and who use the same ideas over and over and over again in their music, but in different ways. And we can take those ideas and instead of regurgitating, we can recreate them in different ways. My wife I've been talking to her and have really deep conversations. And then the next day she's like, "Hey, Brock, what was that thing you said to me?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, you said something that was just so profound. And I'm like, I have no idea. What were we talking about? I honestly think that when you are really, really into playing your instrument, you're really sitting down there, you should have those deep, intimate conversations with your instrument, just like that, where it felt great in the moment and you really had a great experience. But that sometimes it's just between you and your guitar. Sometimes it's not meant for the world. Maybe you're doing some internal healing or whatever it is. You're speaking, your soul is speaking out through the guitar, or you're speaking. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I think what you said was great. And if any of you guys missed that, I definitely think when this is over, you rewind and watch that segment. I'm sure we have more coming up, and there's some great stuff said already. But that was, I think, is a gold mine for a lot of you guys.
Yeah, and that's really the key. A lot of people, there's so many things that we could talk about on this topic, and I know we have other questions to cover. What we just talked about is really kind of the essence, or is the key to actually sounding musical. It's the key to sounding like a musician instead of just some guy who's just picking up the guitar and messing around, right? Like, I think we all feel that way, or at least a lot of us feel that way for a long time, that other people are out there playing real music and it sounds good. It sounds great. I want to listen to it. It's like candy to your ears. But when I pick up the guitar, I'm just kind of clunking around. I'm just playing it. It sounds like a scale. Where's the music? Go back and listen to what we just talked about. That's where the music comes from.
Yeah,